My name is Michelle Miltenberger. I'm the owner of the Space Fort Lauderdale and your host of the Plunge Talks podcast. The Space Fort Lauderdale is a beautiful wellness center located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We offer breathwork, cold plunge, sauna, special events, and we have the most incredible community. With this podcast, our goal is to showcase our amazing community members. I interview various customers, facilitators, and community partners because I believe that everybody has a story and a gift to share. So tune in and enjoy the show. What's up, guys? My name is Michelle. I'm the owner of The Space, and welcome to the Plunge Talks podcast. I have my first guest here today, David, and we're gonna get into some good stuff. So David, first, how do you want the world to know you?
I don't want the world to know me. That's a good question. I'm just Dave, I'm just like one of you guys. Just your average cold plunger, I guess.
Humble.
Yeah, humble Dave.
Yeah. Well, how did you get into cold plunging? Where did that come from?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good story, actually. I kind of I went on a work trip about a year and a half ago, and we basically, it was in California, in Sacramento, and it was pretty cold at the time, probably 20, 30 degrees, and we had an Airbnb, and there's a bunch of guys of us, we sold solar, and there was a pool in the back, and I kind of heard about cold plunging, and I am not a morning person, so I was getting into cold showers at the time too, so I was like, you know what, why don't I just in the morning, I'll just go jump in the pool. And we were there for, I think, a week and a half. So I was doing that every day. And I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about cold plunges. I would literally just jump, I got a few of the other guys doing it too, but I would literally just wake up, go down there, and just jump in, jump out. So it wasn't like a true cold plunge, but it sure as heck
It wakes you up, yeah.
It woke me up, it did the trick. So it was kind of my introduction to it. And then when I got back, I was like, man, there's something to that. I really like that, because all my life, I've never been a morning person, so it was kind of a life hack I found. I was like, dang, how do I get this in my life? So then I started researching cold plunges, and it kind of fell off the wayside, and then come full circle a year later, so about 6 months ago, very similar thing. I was in Texas doing solar this time as well, with a bunch of guys, and we had a big Airbnb. It was like a 6-house mansion on this really just nice lake called Canyon Lake in Texas. If you ever go, it's beautiful. Again, it was cold, probably about 35, 40 degrees, and there was a beautiful lake out back. And I kind of knew more about cold plunging now, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do that every morning. So, and again, I got a few of the other guys kind of hyped up about it, and so we started doing it every morning, and that's when I just kind of really fell in love and started really feeling the benefits from it. Again, I've kind of heard about cold plunging, didn't know a lot of the scientific benefits.
Right,
or
you were researching it or listening to Andrew Huberman's podcast about it. Yeah, just knowing that it was making you feel better.
Yeah, it just felt right. It felt good. So I did that for 10 days. And yeah, it was just amazing. And then I went up and visited Austin for a few days by myself. I found some rivers to get in. And that was next level to me. That's when I really experienced, because the lake was cold, but I got in a flowing river and the flowing body of water. Texas isn't freezing, but it was, like I said, it's about 35, 40 degrees out. Yeah, that's when I really experienced. I remember that's probably when I'm not a selfie guy, but I actually selfied this day, and I selfied myself getting in. Because I crossed this river. It was the last day of my hike, or my trip, and I did this hike, and I was literally probably about 40 minutes from the airport, and I had to be there in about an hour and a half. And I was coming back, and I crossed this river, and then I looked down, and it was just crystal clear, and it was just calling to me. I was like, I need one last cold plunge before I get out of here. So I go to my car, and then I come down, and there's probably about 10 or so tourists kind of in the area, and I start, stripping down, getting all my clothes off, and I remember just looking around, people are looking at me like, what's this psycho doing? And so, I was like, I want to film this one. So I get down in there, and it was the perfect little nook too. It was just like a little bathtub and snug too, and I'm a small guy, so it was the perfect spot for me. And then I get in there, and I remember I looked back, and I was kind of just shivering, shaking. I was like, I don't know anything about this, and I don't know when you start getting, too cold and this is not good for you.
Yeah, like when does it get dangerous?
Yeah, like I'm gonna do 3 minutes and get out. And then, so I did that. And then I remember I got out, and that was literally probably one of the most invigorating feelings I ever had in my entire life. Like I didn't even towel off. I didn't feel like I was cold. My body was just warming up, and it just felt like ecstasy. Like it felt like no drug I'd ever done, no just sex, orgasm. It was just like the best. And after that, I told myself, okay, I have to find a way to get this into my life. How do we do that? And then that's when I come back to Fort Lauderdale, and then I started researching it, like, oh, this is a thing. Oh, there's tubs there that you can get into. In the space, your space was not open at the time. So I bought this little cheap, janky one, a cold plunge and a little chiller. It was kind of like a affordable one. And I remember I ordered it, and I was so excited. It was going to take like 2 months to get here. I was like, oh man, like I needed it now. It was like, it just felt like a drug. I was addicted. And then happenstance, you open up like 2 weeks later. I was like, whoa, okay. And then I come in and tried it and got a membership, and
and now you're hooked.
It's a daily regimen, and here we are.
And here we are.
I think everybody needs this in their life.
I agree. It's incredible to see when people come in, and whether they've done it before or not, they leave a different person. Like they come in with whatever day they're having, whatever energy they have, and when they leave, they're brighter, they're lighter. Like you can feel them lighter than they were when they got here. Excited, happy to connect with people. Like the amount of people I see having amazing conversations with one another is something that I have not experienced anywhere else. Even at the gym, if you do like CrossFit or a more community-based workout, okay, you finish the workout, high fives, whatever, but it's not that like depth of connection that I see when people come here.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
I think is so cool.
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand too. It just being in, your sauna, the way you have the sauna, you have the glass case there, and then you can see all the people. It's always a funny and cool and interesting experience every time. I see you bring, so I can always tell when somebody new coming in because you're kind of guiding them in, and so I'm like, I always get excited because I know what their expression's gonna be. Like it's usually either like some excitement or terrified. It's one of the.
You're right. It's one or the other. There's no middle.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
And either one, no matter which one, like when they get out, it's just they just seem so happy and so some just like don't know what the hell just happened. But even the ones that get in for 10 seconds, get out. Or in the ones that are terrified, like once they get, like they want more immediately, and they have a smile on their face, and like you said, they have the energy, and I can see it and I can feel it radiating. It's like such a cool experience to kind of see that.
It's so cool to witness.
Yeah.
And it's fun to be able to like see and deliver that to people, And in your time coming here, David and I have become very good friends.
Besties.
And so we always have amazing conversations following the cold plunge.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool to, again, we've only known each other for a short period of time, but to be able to connect on like deeper things and deeper levels. And so one of the things that I'm trying to bring more of to the space, and that you and I have had conversations about, where I'd like to bring the conversation now, because it's juicy,
Love it.
Is dating.
Okay.
Is dating.
Yeah.
And so, shameless plug, we've got a couple really cool events coming up for single people, for dating.
That's me.
Yeah. And the first one is going to be all based on human design, dating by design. So understanding your human design, your energy. If you're not familiar with human design, it's like your energy blueprint.
Okay.
Right? It's how you use your energy. It's an innate part of your being. We'll talk more about that another time because I don't want to go too off topic, but one of the greatest things about going through, you're in the cold plunge, you're in the sauna, you're connecting with people, you just achieved something really cool, you're feeling good about yourself, now you're meeting all these new people, is to have that as an opportunity to connect. Have that as an opportunity to meet people and get to know them and feel like you're able to see someone as well in their truth, in their true light, right?
Yeah.
Like you can fake a dinner,
Fair.
right? Like
Yeah.
you can sit across from someone at dinner, looking good, oh ha ha ha, making the right jokes, doing the right thing, being charming. But if it's your first time getting in 40-degree water, you cannot fake that.
No.
You know? And so, but it's interesting to kind of weigh the experience we have here meeting people versus the experience we have elsewhere.
Sure, yeah.
You know?
I can tell you firsthand, I've had a lot of intimate conversations here, and that's one of the many reasons that I continue, to come back and, just love being here, like a part of your space, and I really appreciate what you're doing here. Just some of the, like you said, we've had deep conversations. I have a lot of just deep conversations with people I just met, don't know at all, and, we just did a plunge, in the same vicinity or same time even. But just sitting in the sauna, just some freaking great sauna talk. Just stuff comes up. I don't know how it comes up. It just does, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, like I know this person that I just met, and we just had a 10-minute conversation more than some of my friends even. Like I don't know how the conversations just go there, and I'm the type of person that like I like to kind of see if I can light that fire, if I have that kind of spark or interest. I've found a lot of people that are interested in this kind of stuff are more willing to let that fire be lit. So it's kind of fun to light that, and then it kind of ignites my fire as well. And we get deep in there. I've had some deep ones with random people.
With random people who you may or may not ever see again.
Yeah,
which is the coolest thing.
Some of them I have. Some of them actually I'm meeting a girl for coffee after this that I met here. So proof right there.
Yes.
But some that I haven't seen since. So, but you never know.
Well, and it's so funny to like have this now as kind of the standard, right? At least for me, I feel like my standard of connection with people is deep, is authentic. I expect to meet someone and now have whatever the connection is, have some sort of like depth of the experience. And then like I was recently just posting on my own Instagram, I re-downloaded Hinge, which is a nightmare.
Agreed.
Absolute disaster nightmare. And I think I've sent messages to like 4 people out of the probably hundreds that I swiped through. Hundreds. And I find myself immediately getting bored. Yeah. Immediately. I will say, and like I put thought into my messages. I'm not just saying hey, or ooh, like if you have a picture of a dog, oh nice dog. No, like I'll look to one of your like text prompts.
Yeah.
And I will respond and ask a question.
Yep.
And kind of setting the stage for like I want to get to know you, right? Like I don't know who you are in your pictures, I don't know any of this stuff, and how poorly any of that is received. And my phone is recording, so I don't have my phone to show you, but like why does that happen?
So this is interesting. I'm super curious about this conversation too. And what I want to kind of see, and maybe you'll see, is the male-female perspective of the dating apps, because I've recently, I'm weaning myself off of them. It's almost like this addiction, honestly, just quite honestly, and I get nothing from it, I've found, and so that's why I'm getting rid of them, because the amount of energy that's involved and goes into it, and the amount of return is just not
bare minimum.
Bare minimum. And kudos again back to kind of the space and what you've created here. This place has kind of encouraged me to get rid of them, and you're like, hey, you know what? Let's just do this organically. Let's have these in-person conversations, so you can actually, I don't need a smiley emoji to tell you, hey, I just enjoyed that, or a frowny emoji that's like, hey, that's not cool.
Right.
I can actually see your facial
use your
expressions,
face.
or just ask you, or, I can, read you as a person rather than these things get lost in emoji translation. It's freaking bizarre. I'm very curious to see the difference perspective, because I know it's completely different. Women, I imagine you probably have 100 matches like daily, because I know, you
It's a
know,
lot
I'm a
of
guy. I know how guys are.
notifications,
Ooh, cute.
Right, so that's
Kind of
what I'm
cute.
saying.
Maybe not, but still swiping
But
right.
this is why, like, when I find someone on these dating apps and I'm like attracted to them, or like I want to get to know them, I will send a full message. Like, if I'm on my Hinge and I'm going through my matches or going through my likes or whatever, and I see that the guy just liked a picture and that's it, no message, I'm not messaging you. I'm not interested. Like, it does nothing for me. Because anybody can look hot in a bikini. I do have one bikini picture. I put it on very begrudgingly because one of my girlfriends was like, Michelle, you have to have one. I was like, no, I don't.
I have a bikini picture.
I really don't. Yeah. And your budgie smugglers. But I did it, right? I didn't want to do it, but I did it. But then it's like now when that's the picture the guys are liking,
I mean,
I'm
that's...
I'm more than just a fat ass.
She's
My
got
podcast,
a great one, by the way.
I can say that. No, but I mean, I find too that, you know, I've not been on them for like 2 years, 2.5 years. It's been a while. And now when I do go on them, like I'll go on when I'm like bored, you know, if I'm just hanging out at
Same.
home, I got nothing else to do. Okay, cool. Let me see what's out there. And then 2 things happen to me. One, I feel even more lonely and depressed. Like it actually
when you're
makes
not
me
using
feel
them?
depressed. No, when I am using it, when I'm
yeah.
actively on it.
Yeah, I get that.
And then 2, I start to question myself. Like I start to question, like, why am I so judgy? You know, or, you know, what do I need to be doing differently? Why am I not attracted to these people? Why, right? And I don't know if it's just me where it's just coming back to me, but I feel like it shifts the confidence in that I have in myself to discern potential partners.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm a judgy bitch. And like I very well could be a judgy bitch. A lonely judgy bitch, but like that's how after a 5-minute session on Hinge of just swiping or whatever, clicking, whatever it is, I'm a depressed, lonely, judgy bitch.
Well, I think that's one of the, I mean, I think online dating just in general is just, not, you know, I know there's some success stories out there where it is great. And just like, I think, you know, I'm not going to go on this tangent, but all walks of social media, like in theory, are good, but the way they're utilized and the way just humans utilize them are just trash. Like, we don't know how to utilize them properly.
We ruin everything.
We ruin everything. Like, I think it's a great concept. Like I said, there are some success stories, but I think what it does is kind of like what you're saying. It just it brings out the worst in you.
Yes.
You know, all these things that, like, you know, brings out your vanity. You know, you know, obviously, you know, partner. You know, you want looks are very important.
Right.
Right.
Well, there's got to be some level of attraction.
Right.
Period.
And that's
We don't
all
all
it
need
is.
it to be Jason Momoa, although if you're listening, babe, I'm ready for you. But there is some level of attraction that's really important.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
That's not vanity. That's normal.
Yeah. But then you start swiping, and as a guy, you know, I don't know about all the guys out there. You know, I think I'm like a pretty okay looking guy. I'm like, you know, nice 7 or something, whatever. But, you know, someday maybe if I, you know, I'm swipe a bunch and then, you know, I'm not getting any likes, and like you said, I start questioning myself, like what the heck? And it's crazy too, because I you know, I'm a very confident person. Like you know, I do hard shit all the time. You know, I go to the gym. I work out I work out 6-7 days a week. You know, I'm on my shit. Like, I'm building a business. You know, I cold plunge every day. You know, I meditate. I do all this stuff. Like, you know, so I have all this discipline and self-confidence, but then that can, like, that thing in 5 minutes, or, you know, can instantly, like, take all that away, and it's like, what is this? It's not even real. It's some virtual, you know,
there's an avatar of you on the internet that other invisible people are judging.
Right.
So none of it is real. They don't know who you are. They don't know anything about you except for what you put on there, which the profiles are short. And yet, it can destroy you. Yeah. It has destroyed me.
100%.
And I remember, like, back in the day when Tinder first became a thing.
Oh yeah, man.
I remember even before Tinder, when it was Plenty of Fish and Match.com, and like way back before it was an app, when it was just a website. And I remember, like, how much I judged people for being on that, when I was a lifeguard, one of my bosses, what I found on it, I was like 19 and like seeing, oh, what is this about? But I remember being like, wow, that sucks. You know, wow, you have to go on the internet. And now it's a normal thing.
Right.
Like everyone, if you're single,
Now
you're
everybody
on a dating
sucks.
app. Now everybody sucks. But it's just, oh my God, it makes me crazy. And there was this one, like the first round of men that came up on my Hinge when and it, you know, they do the thing where it's like, all of a sudden it's just like tens, you know, when you just download the app, because the app wants you to be like, oh wow, look, we have so many hot people on here.
Yeah.
So I'm like scrolling through, and there's this, it's true though.
It's true.
And there was this guy who lives in a building near mine, who I remember I met on the beach like almost a year ago, probably a year ago. And I remember it was raining and I was just out there in my jammies. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And he had a brand new dog, a puppy, just the cutest thing. And this dog comes like running at me. It's wet, it's sandy. We're just wet and sandy. I'm wrestling with this dog. It was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Please send me your dogs at any moment. But then he came running over. He was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is his first rain. He doesn't know what to do with it. And we like chatted a little bit. And he was cute. It was fine. I don't know. I cared more about the dog than him. But then I saw, and his dog had a very unique name, and it was a very unique dog. And so, like, number 2 person as I'm swiping on Hinge after re-downloading it was him.
That's wild.
And I was like, oh my God. And I like got so excited because I'm like, he lives right nearby. I love his dog. Cool, let me just say what's up. And I wrote this thing remembering, like, hey, I met your dog. I told him the story. I probably said too much. The text was like this long. But he never responded. And
that one.
I'm like, damn it. And here I am. And I don't even know if I was messaging him like romantically. I was just more excited to be like, what's up, neighbor? You know, if he was like down, I'd be down, I guess. But it was more just the excitement of that. And like I said, I'm a very confident person. I get very excited. I talk to people, you know, I get my like yellow lab mode, and it's great. And then when that gets rejected, I'm like, oh God, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? Did I come on too strong? Did I this? Did I that? And it's like none of this is
wait
real.
A minute. Yeah. Like hold the phone. Why am I having these thoughts for this virtual avatar land?
Virtual avatar land that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's insane.
And then it's tough too, because like you said, I'm the same way. Like I'm a deep person, so you know, obviously, you know, I'm looking at a profile and I'm looking for some commonalities. You know, like oh wow, she likes hiking or kayaking or cold plunging. Oh yes, cold plunging. Let's do cold plunge.
The non-negotiable.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'll comment, and then I'll put thought and effort to it, and then it just goes into the abyss, and you know, nothing's ever done with it. So in all that stuff it's draining, and it just sucks the life out of you. And then there's only so much of that I can do before I'm like, okay, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then I will fall back into the mindless swiping, the empty swipes, and it's like, well, why was it doing this in the first place? And it just is like a vicious cycle. It brings me back to, well, that's not what I want to be doing. I want to have this connection. And you know, it's why I've found, again, I'm just getting out of that space, because like I just feel like we're in a time in, you know, right now, society, where we need to have human interaction and actually learn how to communicate. And that's probably a whole other tangent I could go on, like what it's doing to, you know, to women and men. And, you know, men don't know how to deal with rejection, you know, and that's a big part of.
They're so afraid. I mean, men and women don't know how to deal with rejection. And they're so deathly terrified of it that they won't take any steps forward.
Right.
Is that fear of failure, that fear of, and it's like, failure is important. Rejection is important. I get rejected all the time for various things, various reasons.
All the greats became great because they failed a million times before they were great at anything, you know, whether it's dating, whether it's building a business, you know, whether it's running, you know, your first marathon. Like, you don't just do it, you know.
Right.
You fall down 1,000 times, and then, you know, that builds you up too. That builds your
because
your
then
personality,
you get
your
so
confidence.
confident in yourself, because you're like, you know what? I have failed so many times. I don't need that validation from anybody else.
Right.
I don't need that trophy. Would it be nice? Yes. But I don't need any of that. I'm here to do this for me. It
Right.
strengthens that like internal compass of this is mine. Now, where do you think this fear of rejection is coming from?
I think it's not being exposed to it like in the real life. Like you said, like it's easy to swipe and like, oh, I don't like her, like, oh, and then you have a million options and
And then you could just unmatch.
And
like
then
you
you
know,
just
if you've
unmatch,
never
and
met
there's
someone in
no-
person, you just unmatch.
no
There's
harm, no
yeah.
foul. You don't have to deal with the actually like repercussions of like even just letting somebody down. Maybe I'm into somebody's into me, I'm not into them, or vice versa. Like either me getting rejected or it's not really like that word, but doing the rejection. That doesn't feel good either.
No.
I don't like to do that, but guess what? That's part of the human experience that we're in. And this whole dating crap is taking that away and taking the human, taking the human out of being a freaking human. So it's tough.
No, it's super tough, and I feel like too, with this lack of communication or this lack of like making communication normal, the ghosting, the just disappearing.
Right.
Like if we all could just understand that someone else's experience is not our problem, right? Unless like we did something to wrong them. Like if you're not having a good time, that's on you. That's not because I'm less than, right? It's not because I did something wrong. It's because it's just not in alignment or it's just not working for you.
And that's fine. Right.
And like I had a guy ask me out the other day on Instagram. I think it was an asking out. I don't know. The word date was not used, but from what it sounded like, and great guy, like super nice guy, I'm not romantically interested in him. And so I responded, I'm not romantically interested in you, but thank you. If you want to hang out just as friends, I'm down. I'm down to build this friendship, whatever. No response. And it's been like 4 days now. And I'm like, okay. Like, is that, it's like, if I bruise your ego, I'm sorry. But also.
Well, like I said, that's part of it. Like, we as a society, as human beings, need to be able to take rejection and, dust it off. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what? There's somebody else, and take it as a learning experience.
Right.
And it shouldn't be taking, you shouldn't be taking that personally. It's
Right.
not you. It's like, it's them, and you shouldn't be, I say, oh, what did I do? Why don't they like me? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, unless you did something fucked up. Now,
Right.
there's a lot of fucked up people
Right.
in this world
That's a
who
different
do some
story.
dumb shit. That's another story.
Yeah.
And I hope that if you are that person that is doing some fucked up shit, you have awareness of it.
Stop
doing it. Stop doing it. But if you are just living out of your heart, just trying to do what's best for you, trying to find a partner who's compatible, right? Like, we also live in a day and age where partnership is optional, right? It's not like even in our parents' generation, to some extent, like partnership was necessary. It was necessary to buy a house. It was necessary to fulfill whatever your family's expectations were of you, or it was necessary to create this lifestyle that the media and society was kind of expecting. But now, the amount of women that are deciding to be childless on purpose, the amount of men that are deciding to be single, they don't need a wife or whatever, or a husband, or, the whole landscape of relationships is shifting. Polyamory is exploding, which is really cool to see. I don't know if I could live in a polyamorous relationship because I like attention. If I was like the recipient of all, if I just had like a whole bunch of boyfriends and girlfriends and they were all about me, maybe. But the whole point being, it's really cool to see how the landscape of relationships are changing. And as that shifts, so does everything else. So now if you're living in a world where like polyamory is right for you, great, but then where is that coming from? And can you actually have like communicate well with your various partners? Or are you just someone who's really insecure and looking for various partners?
Right.
Or if you're electing to be single, if you're electing to just live your life as it is. You have beautiful friends, you have a beautiful community, whatever. Are you doing that because you're afraid, or because you're truly, truly happy in being single?
Right.
You know, and I feel like though this landscape existed in other generations and other times, I feel like it's becoming way, way, way more apparent now. And I don't know if that's just because social media is talking about it, or because people are a little more open-minded. There's no shame like it used to be. You know, people used to, like I was saying before, it was shameful to like look at Match.com or Plenty of Fish.
Right.
I'm like, what's wrong with you? You can't meet someone in person. But
Right.
now, if you're single and you're not on a dating app, it's weird.
Right.
You know, so a lot of that shame dynamic has shifted. But then where does that leave us? You know?
Single.
Single. Single, sitting on a couch and talking about it for an hour. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. It's so true, though.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I can't speak to the polyamory stuff at all. I don't know that world, understand it, or like I don't, you know.
It's not your game.
Yeah,
That's okay.
could speak. I've just never
I have
been
a great
introduced
book
to it.
if you want to read it.
Yeah,
It's
what's
a great
it called?
book. It's called Sex Before Dawn.
Okay.
It's really good. It's about kind of what relationships and family structures looked like before the agricultural age. So with the shift of the agricultural age, a lot of structures changed in society, where instead of being a nomadic tribe or something like that, it was now land ownership. And so that changed a lot. It changed a lot of what life looked like for women. It's fascinating. So if you ever want to borrow it,
I'll let you know.
It's so good.
I'll get my library card so I can check it out.
Well, your 20s are for you. Let me backtrack. Let me just give that PSA to anyone here who's in their 20s. When I was 23, I was engaged, and I broke it off, thank God. He was a nightmare. I'll go into that another time if we ever want to talk about that.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Absolute nightmare. And that breakup like devastated me. Like I thought I was gonna be alone the rest of my life. At 23, I didn't even realize my whole life was ahead of me, and I would still be single at 33. But that's fine. We don't need to keep that score. But my friend's mom, Cindy Werner, told me as I was going through my chaos, she was like, Michelle, your 20s are for you. Period. Your 20s are for you. You have the rest of your life to dedicate your life to a partner or children or whatever, a job. Your 20s are for you. And I ran with that. And I'm so grateful that I ran with that.
Yeah.
Because I see the people who didn't. And even though, sorry, I like to fidget. Even though everyone wants different things with their lives, right? We all have our own goals and we all have our own thoughts and whatever. We all have an idea of what we want our life to look like. I could not be more grateful that my 20s looked like it did.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're in your 20s are for you. Fuck around. Be safe. Be safe. Wear a condom, get tested, but fuck around. Have fun. You know?
I think, well, I guess for context, so I'm 41, so, you know, you're in your 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the, you know, the landscape of dating, you know, evolve into,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this conversation we're having today. I wouldn't be having this conversation when, you know, 20 years ago, you know, I was in college and, again, actually meeting people in the real
In
world,
real life.
you know, going to house parties and meeting people, or, you know, going to sports events and, you know, meeting people. And there was, you know, if I wanted to, you know, ask you out, you know what I would do? I would dial your phone number and say, hey, Michelle, what are you doing this weekend? I'd like to take you out on a date. It is such a different experience than like,
I don't know if anyone in the whole wide world has done that in the last like decade.
Right? He said it's a, you know, I can remember it, and you know, it's more it's more invigorating. I'll be honest. Like you know, even because you know, there's not this just I can just send this little message into no man's land, and like it doesn't matter. Like if she says yes or no, like whatever. I won't, you know, like I actually have to have some interaction, hear your tone, and kind of go through that. And you know, one way or the other, I think it's just much better either way it goes, because you know,
Because
again,
then you know for sure too,
Yeah,
and you're not
I know.
messing with the stupid ambiguity.
right? There's no ambiguity.
Hey, you want to hang out on Friday night? And then the recipient's like, okay, and then you don't know. Do you want to hang out because you want to date them?
Right.
Do you want to hang out because you're interested in them? Do you want to hang out because you're friends? Is ambiguity and what's that word I'm looking for? Where people are just
like aloof, I don't know.
like reusable. They're just there's a word I'm looking for. Recyclable. You could just, there's no, oh, this person I'm interested, let me call them up.
Yeah, and you let them know. And kind of back to what I was saying earlier, like it's a confidence builder.
Yes.
Like that people, and I think that's why, there's kind of this weird, I don't know about divide, but just this weird interaction, I think, with the, masculine and feminine roles these days. 'Cause, the woman wouldn't do that, and that's fine. I'm not saying a woman wouldn't or couldn't, but usually it'd be the guy picking up the phone. But I think that's our responsibility to court, to let you know, and then that shows you that, like, hey, he's got the confidence to actually ask me out. I think it goes a long way for just inside, like made that call. Well, she said no, okay, cool, but guess what? I did it. I might have shaking, picking up the phone. I don't know what to say.
So
Hi,
ready.
hey, do you remember me? Whatever.
Yeah, stumbling over your words.
Yeah. But then you get it done, and you feel good one way or the other. It's not the same like sending a text like that. Anybody can do that. It's easy. It doesn't do anything for anybody.
No, it's not impressive. And if there's something I want, I go for it. Right? I'm all about feminism and equality, and I think that both men and women are responsible for whatever relationship dynamic they're looking for, right? So if I'm interested in someone and he's not showing me any signs, but I want it, I'll go for it. However,
why not?
However, God, I hate doing that. And I love feeling like I'm chosen.
Right.
And I feel like when I ask men out, it can be taken one of two ways. Even if it's a rejection, even if they're like, I'm not interested, there's that, I'm not interested, but thank you for making me feel desired, making me feel chosen.
Yeah.
And then there's the no, and now I feel emasculated. And that's with the insecure guys, the guys who are not comfortable with themselves, that maybe they wouldn't have even asked in the first place. But I feel like there's that even deeper dynamic that specifically women are working with, because it can go either way. Even if it's a no, there's still that like, ooh, you just made me feel good, no, or that I am so insecure that you just made me question or you made me feel like my masculinity was questioned, and now I'm gonna, fucking hate you for it or some shit. It just,
Right.
Where
are all the women asking guys out? I don't think I don't know the last time I've been asked out. There need to be more women like you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, there needs to be.
Every once in a while, it's a good feeling to be asked out.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to feel desired and chosen.
And the thing is, it's I think it's important to look at even not, sometimes you need to do things not just out of what you want, think about the other person. Even in that instance, whether you get rejected or not, as long as that person's not an asshole, and if they are, guess what? Right then that's not the person. Or hopefully, you're not looking for those red flags and you want a toxic relationship immediately. I know some people are attracted to that, but
and if you are, I'm still a therapist. I'll put my link under, book a session, we'll talk about it.
But there's that sense of, you should get a sense of fulfillment of, brighten somebody's day. It's just like a compliment. Like, I try to make it a point to, on a daily basis, just give at least one person a compliment throughout the day, whatever it is.
I love that.
They feel good, you feel good. And it's interesting enough that there's been studies done that when you do good deeds such as that, like, you get benefits from it, the person receiving gets benefits from it, and not only that, anybody outside that observes, they also get benefits from it. So it's so great, like, to be able to do things like that and not just think, don't think selfishly, you go let somebody know, like, hey, I think you're beautiful. I liked what you were doing. You got some good energy. You want to get coffee? oh, I actually got a boyfriend, or yeah, I'm not interested, or whatever. Okay, cool, no
Okay,
worries.
great.
But you made somebody feel special that day.
Yeah.
Even if they're not interested. And you don't have to take it. Don't get butthurt about it. It's okay.
Right.
There's a lot of other people, and that wasn't the right energy or the right match, and that's part of the game.
Yeah.
That's part of the game. You're gonna find that one, but you got to put yourself out there.
100%. And I feel like for both men and women, I can speak for myself in saying this, where I have been in situations where someone has pursued me, I have said no, and then they have gotten really aggressive and really not okay. And I know that there are a lot of women out there, because I've spoken to a lot of my girlfriends, even in my own circle, where, they're afraid to really say no to someone because they're afraid that they're gonna lash out, And so I've seen a lot of women say no, but this happens a lot where they don't have a boyfriend, but they're like, oh no, I can't, I have a boyfriend. And then instead of the guy being like, that's fine, have a great day, whatever, well, where's your boyfriend? Is he as good as, does he look like me? What does he look like? What is this? And it becomes this line of questioning where it's I used to use that as my excuse. That was my cover too when I was single and when I was in my 20s. And I stopped doing that because I'm like, I don't need a protection. I don't need a man's protection to say no because I'm not interested.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't have to.
Right.
Nobody needs a reason. Guess
right.
What?
No one needs a reason.
The reason is no, because I decided that, and you have the question. And I'm going to take that right back to kind of what I've been preaching this whole time. That comes from insecurity. That's 100%. All that is. That person's insecure. 100%. And that stems from this landscape we're in, this social media landscape, this dating landscape. Dating landscape. If the more rejection you get, guess what? The thicker skin you get, and you just brush it off. You don't take it like a hit, and get all mad about it, and then get all aggressive. And guess what? That don't look good for guys like me, because I'm not gonna be like that. But that makes women scared.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on the flip side of that. I know my intentions. I'm a nice guy. I know my energy, but I've also asked women out in person and before, and they've sometimes gotten weird about it. And and sometimes that'll make me question myself, shit, well, was I weird? Was I aggressive? And no, it's not that. It's they've been hit on 1,000 times by unruly assholes who don't know how to have a conversation, and it stems from insecurity, because they don't have to have this real interaction with, with human beings. So, that's, I don't know, I guess if I can give a message, I don't know.
And girls can be bitches too. They can just be nasty,
Sure.
Nasty. So
well,
we both have all genders have their flaws, all of them. But no, I think that's, the message wrapped up in a bow is love yourself. If you want something, ask for it.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that thing, it's okay. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna fall over. Your self-confidence might get shaken, but it's just like building muscle, right? When you're at the gym and you're working out and you're building muscle, your muscles don't just grow. Your muscles are literally torn apart. Literally torn apart. And then over the next few hours, days, whatever, your muscles rebuild themselves to be stronger. The muscle tissue reinforces itself. So you got to get torn up to be reinforced anyway.
That's how it goes. Doesn't happen overnight.
Doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't happen by itself either. Nobody's going to do it for you.
No.
And it doesn't happen by yelling at the weights and getting mad because you couldn't lift them.
Right? Right? Or ghosting people on dating apps. That doesn't happen either.
No.
Oh my God. But no, I think I still have hope, for the world in general. And now I would love to get a Gen Z here. I wish we had a Gen Z here to kind of get their perspective.
Oh man, yeah.
Because they grew up with.
That's all they know.
That's all they know.
That's just the norm.
Instagram, TikTok.
That's just how we do it.
That's how they do it. And then plus, the whole COVID stuff, the lockdown stuff. So I'm really curious.
Well,
to see what
I have I have friends of all ages, all walks of life. From I play beach volleyball, so I meet a lot of people in that community, and literally there'll be people coming out of high school playing, and then there's also one of the reasons I love the sports is you can play up until you're 50, 55, 60 years old, because it's not that detrimental on your body. But yeah, so I have a lot of younger friends, and I've seen firsthand, some of my good friends, like it's tough because I do what I try to be like this bigger brother figure, and try to build them up. But some of them are incredibly insecure, and I know that's at least in part is to all this stuff we're talking about, this social media and the dating, because they don't have to deal with, again, just the rejection in person, the actually human communication that actually builds your confidence. I don't know, I keep repeating that, but I think that's my message is, just like you need that for anything. If you don't have confidence, you're not going to get anywhere in life that you want to get. Not saying you're not going to be successful. I'm not going to say you're not going to have a happy life, but like if you want to really excel and thrive and just live like a fulfilling, abundant life, you cannot do it without confidence.
No.
And you're not building confidence on social media. I can guarantee you that. That's a fact. I'll put my stamp on it.
And I double stamp that. That's the difference between people working the same job for 20 years because it's comfortable,
right,
versus the people who say fuck it, YOLO, and actually follow their heart, their passion. And now the job that you have for 20 years might be your passion. If that's true, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But we get this lifetime, we get this human incarnation, might be one of many, whatever your belief system is. But how do you want to spend that? Do you want to spend that hiding behind a computer screen, hiding behind an Instagram profile or a TikTok, right? Hiding behind dating apps and swiping, or do you want to spend that actually engaging, actually being, actually seeing, tasting? Emotions are scary, but all of them are real, exist for a reason, and need to be felt and expressed. Exactly, embracing that.
Yeah, so our kind of theme and topic today is the kind of social media dating apps and dating landscape.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been probably single for about close to 2 years now, a year and a half, and so I got back on the dating apps, and when I first started doing it, it was kind of to fill this kind of void I had, and I was kind of sad and kind of going through the motions, like just maybe even trying to hook up. I don't know, just trying to have some love in my life so I can kind of forget about that. And then it started evolving, like, okay, I'm at least over the relationship now, I'm looking for a relationship. What was my point in that? I don't even know. I know my point. So then it just became very addictive, and I found myself just on my free time, like I'll come home from the gym, have my protein shake, okay, and then it just became a freaking routine and like an addiction. And then I would find myself, okay, now I have my protein shake, I go on my balcony and I'm gonna swipe for 15, 20 minutes, and I would do that every day. Or you get a little graphic, but I'm on the toilet, okay, this is my swipe time on the toilet, whatever.
You know what? The toilet is a great place to swipe on dating apps, to do some great thinking, to send some messages. I don't know a single person that doesn't take their phone with them into the bathroom.
But what I found is I'm a very aware person, and I was becoming aware like what it was doing to my psyche. As we started in the conversation, just the negative, okay, I'm not getting a lot of likes. Well, what's going on? Am I not attractive? I've been single for 8 months or whatever, and then. Right. Then that starts screwing my confidence. Like I said, I'm a confidence guy. Where's this shit coming from? It's like this fake stuff. And then recently I had to make it a point. It's crazy, because you get with social media, you get that dopamine hit. Same thing is like a drug. You get it, and I felt it. It has taken me a few months now to actively and purposefully stop it. Stop using them. Yeah. And I was like, well, one, it's not working. I'm still single. I'm not going on great dates. I went on a ton of dates, but not great ones. I found myself going on whatever dates just because. She's kind of cool, so I'll go on. And then finally, I know people, and I know within the first 5 minutes, like, yeah, this is not gonna work. And and that makes for a terrible date. It's like, I don't even wanna be there after 5 minutes. But yeah, so I have to wean myself off. But what I've found now that I'm doing it is, it's such a great experience. Like, kind of like we were talking about, like, I'm having a human experience now. And I've told you a few stories I've had. Like, you know, I had this one the other day, and there was a girl at the gym, and I'm making a point now. If I see something, a woman, anything, if I want in life, I'm just gonna freaking go for it, you know. And I'm gonna be confident about it. And you know, there was this girl that I saw in the gym, and normally, I don't know, gym's a little gray area. Maybe we can have a whole gym dating conversation.
Yeah, I feel like that's a whole session in itself.
That's interesting. But I was like, you know what? I really want to talk to this girl. I saw her a few times. She's very cute. She's got some good energy, and we just happened to be in the elevator this one day, and I was hoping we were going to get off on the same floor, and turns out she got off on the floor above me. So I was like, damn it, I'm going to miss my opportunity. But I was like, no, I'm not. So I chased her out the elevator like a weirdo. Like, she drives a motorcycle, and I was like making stuff up. Like, oh, what, do you drive a motorcycle? You know, can you show me? She's like, yeah, it's actually for sale. I want to see it. I was like, yeah, I want to see it. It's for sale.
Sure, I'll buy your motorcycle.
So, you know, and I'm just like, you know, my heart's kind of racing.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is real shit. I'm having a human experience. Like, it's actually exciting, you know? It's like a roller coaster a little bit. Like, you know, here we go. I don't know. Oh, we're about to fall. And, you know, then I mean, I admitted to a couple, you know, a minute into it, she's like, tell me about the bike. I was like, look, I got to be honest with you. I don't give a crap about your bike. I seen you in the gym. You got really good energy. You're like intriguing me. I just wanted to kind of introduce myself. And she really appreciated that. She's like, she kind of just like took back. She's like, I really appreciate your being forward. Like, you know, I'd definitely like to chat, but I gotta go. Like, I'm 11 minutes late. I was like, all right, cool, no worries. Hey, my name's Dave. What's your Lauren? Okay, cool. I'll see you around at the gym. But now I'm having those experiences, and it's so much freaking better than sitting on my balcony for 15 minutes doing this, getting no response. Right. And guess what? That didn't go anywhere. But it's a cool story. It was fun in the moment. I felt good. I literally felt alive, you know, for a moment.
You get that visceral experience.
Yeah, that you don't
There's
get
none
on a
of that on any of the apps or the screens or the whatevers. It's like, in real life, you get to have that, like, bolt of lightning to your system. And
then, as I've been saying this whole time, and that, you know, that built my confidence. Like, hell, I can do that. I can talk to women. Like, you know, I can whatever. You know, I'll make this work, you know. Right. And then that one didn't work, but guess what? It makes the next time a little bit easier, and the next time a little bit easier, and then a little bit smoother, and then I'm not fumbling over my words. And now it's just a conversation. Hey, you know, saw you, you know, working out, you know, whatever, you want to get a workout, I don't know, whatever it is, but like, you know, it's not this big thing anymore.
Yeah.
You're just having conversations.
Right. You only get good at stuff by doing stuff. If I want to get good at jujitsu, I'm not just going to watch YouTube videos.
Aren't you already good at jujitsu?
I am.
I heard you got a good choke.
Rear
naked choke.
Yeah, that is true. But I think I'm a lot better than I am. I'm not lowly white belt, but
that's the confidence.
But that's the thing. That's the confidence, and that's the fact that I'm now going 3 or 4 days a week to train. And when I'm there, I'm training and I'm learning. And if I have a question while I'm getting fucking choked out, I'll like ask that question, right? I'm constantly engaging, and even though and receiving feedback, asking for feedback.
Yeah.
And if you're just not gonna try, you're not gonna do it, you're just gonna watch YouTube videos all day, right? Or read a book or do tutorials, like obviously there's something to be said for reading a book and watching and all that stuff, but until you actually do it, you're not going to get better at it.
Yeah, gotta put
so
it into
until
practice.
you actually ask someone out in real life, I feel like as we're talking, I want to like make it a goal of mine for sometime in this week. So by the time this thing is actually live on our website, and YouTube and Spotify, I want to ask someone out in real life.
Ooh,
I'm going to set that challenge for myself.
Let's each have a challenge for it. Let's leave today. Maybe we can close up with that. We'll have a challenge for each of ourselves.
I like that.
Okay, so you want to...
I'm going to ask someone out. I don't know who yet, and that even just... But as I'm talking about this, I'm starting to feel like nervous. I'm starting to feel that like tweedle in my stomach.
It feels good though, doesn't it?
No, it feels great. It feels amazing.
It's going to amplify when you actually do it.
Yeah, oh my God. Ooh, I think I know.
Yeah,
think
who
I
it's
know
gonna
who
be?
it is. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
that's good. That's good.
And now I feel okay, right? So now we transition. Now I feel like a fucking schoolgirl on the playground,
Right.
thinking like, okay, is he going to sit next to me on the bus today? Like,
Right.
but I don't get this feeling when I go on Hinge.
There's no shot if you're like, oh man, I've been meaning to ask Randy out on Hinge. We've been matched.
Right.
You
There's
don't
none
get
of
that. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna just go do it. Yep, no, it didn't work. Okay, cool, no worries.
But this, like, just
Exciting.
the thought about it.
Yeah.
And like, he's probably on Hinge, so I could probably match him on Hinge.
No, that's not how. No,
But
that's, I'm not letting you do that.
No, I'm not going
letting
to do it.
you
I'm going to do
in
it
person.
in real life.
Yes.
In real life, face to face.
Yeah, not avatar bullshit.
Not avatar bullshit.
I love it.
But it's great. Like, I feel really excited. I feel like high right now, which is awesome. What's your challenge?
I feel like that's a good one too, and I've been doing that more. But I think that's a good one for myself too. Just more direct. Maybe I'll make it more specific. Maybe I'll do somebody at the gym, because I go to the gym every day, and I'm just like I said, I don't really ask too many women out of the gym. It's again, I don't really.
It's a weird gray
place
area.
because you're gonna see each other, and
Yeah.
So I think you definitely have to be tactful and make sure it's done with like you can't be weird at all.
Respect,
Respect,
yeah,
like
boundaries.
hey, cool, that you're super interesting. Just want to see if you want to get some coffee with me, or an acai bowls kind of a thing. I like acai bowls.
Love that.
So,
Well, and it's healthy.
yeah, exactly.
And it's during daylight hours.
Yep.
For anybody wanting to ask me out, daylight hours, please. Thank you.
I've been asking at midnight. Maybe that's my problem. See, I'm glad we had this conversation.
You were learning
I might have a girlfriend by next week.
There you
now.
go, right?
Sometimes it's the little things.
It's the little things. It's the little things.
Yeah, somebody at the gym.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask him the coffee or acai bowl this
love
week.
that.
Well, okay, what's today? Sunday.
Today's Sunday.
So I'm gonna give myself. Maybe we'll.
So we have a full week
a
till
week
next,
till next
Sunday.
Okay, that's next
Yeah.
week. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and we will update in the show notes
Yep.
how it goes.
So I'm gonna be contacting
a follow-up
you.
podcast?
Yeah. On Saturday, and like you got 24 hours.
Yeah.
Better.
No, I'm gonna honestly. I think I'm just gonna like fucking just get after
You do it like a Band-Aid, man.
Yeah.
Boom. You know what? Let's bring this back to the cold plunge. Just like a cold plunge. You don't sit
just
there
get right
and
in.
think about it and wait. No, you just like, you get in that bitch. You know it's going to be cold. But
That's right.
guess what? You also know, not with your first time, but once, veterans, once you get out of the damn thing, you feel amazing. You feel alive. You feel invigorated. You got that dopamine hit. Like the natural, natural way of doing things. It's the same thing, So just do the damn thing.
Do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Do the damn
I think that's
thing.
I think that's a great way to close it, and I think a good message is just, just Nike, just do it, just do the damn
do
thing.
it. I love that. Well, you heard it here, folks. Just do it. David.
Yes,
Thank
Michelle.
you so much.
Yeah,
This has been a
first
wonderful first
It's a pleasure. I'm
episode. I
excited.
don't even know how long we've been talking.
I mean,
Let's just
could
let
have
it.
been days.
Right, could have been days. Could have been days. But thank you so much. And like I said, we'll update in the show notes how our goals for asking someone out this week goes.
We might not be single next week.
We might not be single by this time next week. Who knows? And in the meantime, if you are looking for connection, if you want to meet some really cool people, come to this space, Fort Lauderdale. Our website is linked below. Our Instagram is complete fire. I do the Instagram, so. And stay tuned for some really awesome singles events, because we know that connection is more than just swiping. It is so much deeper, so much more beautiful, and I believe that people can find love here. And I get to watch.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Good stuff.